Hey guys, what's going on? Mark here again, back with another episode in the TST garage, as you already know, and with our 2020 Yamaha MT-03. In today's video, we are actually going to be doing an installation of something I referenced in our last build series episode, which is our Vesrah RJL Brake Pads. We do carry these in stock. We also have the ZZ variant, which, as we mentioned previously, is just a little too aggressive for us. It has too much of an initial bite, so for street riding, for track riding on a small displacement motorcycle like this, we're just gonna stick with the RJLs. They are a great option. I personally use them, love them, awesome. This is a very simple installation. Not many special tools are needed. We have a set of needle nose pliers. Every garage should have these. We have a ratchet tool with a T50 Torx bit. So make sure you have a Torx bit handy. And a torque wrench. You do wanna make sure your torque wrench can reach at least 35 foot-pounds. We're only gonna need 25. I always like to go up a little bit more because the ranges on torque wrenches are kind of weird. I also have a set of shop gloves because I don't wanna get my pretty little hands dirty. Outside of that, we're ready to jump right in. So without further ado, let's go. All right, so here we are. We're gonna do a quick unboxing, nothing too special. Vesrah does some nice packaging here. Obviously the most important stuff is inside, so you can kind of ditch the exterior pieces. You can even ditch the brake pads. We're only here for the sticker. Just kidding. Here we are, 2 pads, 1 caliper. It's not a dual caliper, dual rotor setup, so you only need 1 set to complete this installation. Now, moving on, we have this T50 Torx bit on our ratchet right now. We're going to hook this up here and make sure it's spinning in the right direction. We're gonna break these bolts loose on the caliper carrier. This is just a bracket that actually has the speed sensor. And the caliper mounts to this, and then it mounts to the bottom of the fork leg. So we broke these bolts loose. I know a lot of people are gonna ask, what kind of ratchet is that? This is a Stanley rotating ratchet. You could probably find it at your local hardware store. A lot of people like that ratchet. So as you saw, I just loosened those bolts up and this just fell right down. So here you have it. Now, you have these 2 cotter pins on this little rod right here. I don't know how well you can see them, but you're gonna wanna remove them. So we're gonna go with this one. Got one side out. Do the same for this one. Whoop. All right. And now what that was, those were 2 locking pins to keep this rod in place. You can push this rod through here, pull it out, and now your calipers are actually free to be removed. So you're gonna wanna take the bottom one, you're gonna spin it out of its place in this fashion, and it's gonna slide right off of that piece. And then the top one, you can just push down and it'll release. Pretty simple. For reinstallation, you're gonna mimic what you just did. So you're gonna wanna take this pad that has the little notch on the side and 1 notch on this side. You're gonna seat it. And you can see there's a little channel on the right-hand side where my thumb is right here. And you're gonna wanna slide that in, push it all the way back. And this one is very simple. You're gonna wanna slide this onto here, into this accepting feature, and then swivel it back, and boom, that's really it. Now you can go ahead and reinsert this safety pin. One, and now if this pin is dirty, looks dry or anything like that, you can actually just take some lube, some garage lube, and you can actually just apply a light amount to keep everything nice and fresh. Now you're gonna wanna reinsert these cotter pins. There are 2 little holes. I know you can't see them on the camera, but there are small holes on this rod that you can slide the cotter pins through. Rotate this, push it down, that's 1. And the same will happen with the other one. The other one's a little bit tighter just because of the location. All right, so the safety pins are in. We can now actually remount this. So we're gonna go ahead and slide the caliper and the pads over the rotor. Perfect. Snug as a bug in a rug. You can go ahead and feed this top bolt through. This is not threaded, but it is threaded on the actual caliper bracket. So you can push it all the way through until you get a little bit of a bite. Just to kind of help you facilitate and so things aren't floating around. You're gonna pick up the bolt, get them nice and snug. Now we're gonna take our ratcheting tool. We're just gonna give them a little bit of a snug, an additional bite. Make sure they're a little snug. And now at this point, you wanna take your torque wrench, put the T50 bit on there, adjust it to 25 foot-pounds, and you just wanna make sure everything's torqued down. All right, so this installation is complete. That was from beginning to end. We didn't do any camera tricks, any camera magic. That was the entire installation process. Now we're gonna go ahead and look at our stock pads. As you can see, there's a little bit of scoring on the backside from the calipers heating up and just kind of setting in. But there's a ton of meat left on these pads. I'm not sure how well you can see that on camera. There is a ton of meat left. We only put 255 miles on these pads, but as I mentioned on the track, we did find that we wanted to upgrade them, we just didn't. So here we are. We're gonna ditch these, keep them for a rainy day, no pun intended. But other than that, we're all good to go. Please be sure to break these pads in, or when you're doing any installation. I mentioned this in a previous video. Anytime you do any sort of installation on your motorcycle of any products, you should always break them in properly. Go on a short test ride up and down your street, around your block. Make sure everything is tightened down, torqued down. You don't want anything vibrating loose. You want to make sure your components work, because the worst thing that can absolutely happen is do an installation like this. You go out for a ride, hit the highway, and all of a sudden you have no front brakes. So be sure to test everything in. You do want to break these pads in, but with everything, it should just be a cardinal rule working on stuff. Always check your work. Go for a short ride, look at it again, make sure everything's good. For now, this has been Mark in the TST garage you know and love. We'll catch you guys next time. Ride safe.
Yeah.